Jared Dillian. Now you know a rich guy.
I'm Jared Dillian. This is the Jared Dillian Show. If you want to call to talk about your money, please call 844-305-7800. That's 844-305-7800. This is the Jared Dillian Show. I know a lot of people who went broke because they told themselves, I can afford the monthly payment. Yeah. That's how you get yourself into trouble. You're buying a car, and the car salesman's like, he slides this piece of paper across the desk. He's like, does this work? And you do some mental math, $350 a month. Yeah, that works. I can afford the monthly payment. All people care about is the size of the payment. That's all the bank cares about either. What is the monthly? And people figure if they can make the monthly payment work, then they can afford the car, the washing machine, or the refrigerator. By the way, I just want to talk about the sheer uselessness of financing a car. And I've done this. I've had 2 car loans in my life. I'm on car number 5. I think I've had 2 car loans, and the other ones I paid cash. The first one I had to, I was 21 years old. The second one I had a car loan. I was just like, what the hell? And I did the thing that everybody does. Well, the interest rate is 4%, and I should be able to beat 4% in the market, so I'll borrow the money. That is terrible logic. Anyway, on that car loan, it was a $32,000 car. Over the course of 5 years, I paid $40,000. I paid $8,000 in interest, literally for no reason. For no reason at all. It was just pure, it was laziness, you know? And I'm sure you ever know somebody that likes to finance everything. You know, they'll finance something that costs $200. I mean, the refrigerator. I mean, how much is a refrigerator? Like $1,500? You finance a refrigerator, you're paying $69 a month for 5 years. There's like a 14% interest rate in there. Then you got a lot of money going out the door every month, and the monthly nut gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're just making the payments every month. Just don't do that. I am fond of saying that you should not care about the interest rate. You should care about the dollars you spend in interest. The dollars that you spend in interest. And you should also care about the interest rate. But a lot of financing deals, they don't tell you what the interest rate is. They only tell you the monthly payment. This is where you end up paying lots and lots in interest. Even when you go to buy a car, they don't show you all the fine print. They just show you the monthly payment. And I've said before that the average person spends 10 to 20% of their income in interest every year. I'm not just talking about payments. They spend 10 to 20% of their income in interest. Interest that doesn't do anything. It's useless. So, unless they explicitly tell you that it is going to be 0.0% APR, there is going to be interest, and if you don't know what it is, you have to ask what it is, and it's not going to be low. And even if it is 0.0% APR, and this is a question that we've talked about in the show before, if you're buying a car and they're offering you 0% financing, do you take out the debt? I mean, because it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, you got to beat 0% in the stock market, right? Actually, no, about 30% of people don't beat 0% in the stock market. Yeah, but it's still debt. I mean, if you don't make the payment on a 0% interest loan, you still lose the car. It is still debt, and debt is one of the sources of financial stress. I have no problems with consumption. You want to buy a refrigerator, you can buy a refrigerator. Just pay with cash, and if you don't have the cash, wait until you have the cash. You should be paying cash for everything. The only thing you should not pay cash for, you should if you can, but the only thing you don't have to pay cash for is your house. You can finance a house, but you should not finance anything else. And I'm not going to tell you I've always done this. I have financed something stupid in my life. I financed a watch. I was in Vegas. and there was an Omega that I wanted to buy, so I went to the Omega store, and they didn't have the exact watch that I wanted. It was like a titanium Speedmaster with a leather strap, and they said, we don't have the one with the leather strap. We have the one with the titanium strap, and it's $11,700. And I said, okay. So I went to a watch store across the street, and I said, look, this is the watch that I'm looking for. They said, we can order it for you. And I said, the Omega store told me 11.7. Can you give me a deal on that? And they said, well, we'll give you 11.1, but you have to finance it. And I said, well, what is the financing? And they said, well, you have to, it's 0% financing for the first 12 months. And I'm like, so I can pay it off in 12 months? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, we'll do it. So I gave them my social security number. They ran my credit. And I got a watch. I got a watch. And I made payments on the watch for a year. I was paying about $1,200 a month on the watch. Kind of it's stupid in retrospect. I kind of was just curious. I kind of wanted to see how it worked. But I got 0% financing on a watch for a year, It is pretty attractive when you don't have to pay cash for stuff. But I will tell you this. Successful people pay cash for stuff. This is a habit of successful people. And if you are the type of person who finances everything, you will not be successful. I assure you of that. Paying cash is a habit of highly successful people. You work first, then you get to enjoy yourself later. It's kind of like this. You mow the lawn on a hot day, then you get to have a beer. You don't have a beer first and then mow the lawn. Then you will be drunk mowing the lawn. The only thing you should be financing is a house, maybe a car under certain circumstances, but that's it. You should not be financing watches or appliances. Appliances aren't even that expensive. We just got a washing machine for $500. You don't need to finance $500. You're going to end up spending $200 in interest on a $500 washing machine. By the way, retailers make all their money off of people financing stuff. Paying cash is bad for them. So why do you want to do something that is good for them? It's like being a good customer of the bank. Who wants to be a good customer of the bank? Who wants to be a good customer of the car dealership? Who wants to be a good customer of anybody? All everybody cares about is the monthly payment. A lot of people I know went broke because all they cared about was the monthly payment. You should not have 14 monthly payments going out the door. It's going to massively increase your stress level. Having to make payments on stuff increases your stress, and we are all about minimizing financial stress. Remember, the two biggest sources of stress are debt and risk. And I'm telling you, this is the type of thing that can keep you up at night. I'm Jared Dillian. This is the Jared Dillian Show.
The Jared Dillian Show.